Alright, I seem to be on. I'm having some various technical issues. When I brought the stream on, I'm using my phone right now, and the phone is on a new tripod that I got, and I clip where you put the phone in place, pressing down on the power button. And it went to some black screen to reboot and everything. I'm not exactly situated here. I've got other problems that decided to happen while I was getting set up and while I'm sitting here now. I have some new animals. I also have to deal with my table wanting to rock right now. I had it in a good spot where it wouldn't do that. So I need to put something under my table, which means I have to get up. I don't know, I can use this. Maybe I can use this. Let's find out. And that'll keep it steady for now. You know, the biggest problem I've got with my setup here is the light. The light takes up some space. And I've got my small laptop over here with me as well. And I mean that the light takes up so much space because I have to have it positioned right over everything so you can all see it. And also so it's not hitting me in the face. All right. And when I'm streaming from the phone, it lags a little bit, so I have to watch my stream on the computer until I've caught up and make sure that everything is lined up. And I'm also looking at it on my TV, which is over that way, behind the stream. Of course, it's not angled in this direction, but I can still see it. All right, so I got some new animals. I got a hold of a dire wolf, and I got a hold of a couple of wild boars. I got to thinking that I'm doing an abandoned wreckage scene and abandoned ruins. And I thought, well, you know, I'm not ready to have people and humanoid type characters on there yet. And of course, all I have are these maps. I can unfold this and make it a lot bigger. I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm going to make photos of a setup at some point. I might even get some houses. If you look at this, you can see the destroyed buildings and scorched trees on the map. But they're not standing up. They're not three-dimensional. You know, I would love it if I could get this set up where I had people to come along and play a campaign with me with what I'm doing here, but I'm not too sure I can see that happening right now. My work hours are actually a little bit too much for me. We were working almost 60 hours a week, and then they finally, after I'd been there for a few months, they finally knocked us back down to 8 hours, but their timing wasn't that great because during the month of November and December, I worked a lot less. There was more time off, more days off. So I don't have any money. And I'll be making a lot less now. Which means I have to figure out another way to conserve my weekly budget. You know, of course, I did some online spending because of the holiday sales and stuff like that for games and other things. You know, and these little guys here, these pieces they're only $5 a piece. And you know, these came 4 in a pack, and the picnic table with the benches came all together. So there's that. I did get a couple of new colors. I have, let's see where they are here. I got Death World Forest, which is a base color. And I have Brass Scorpion, which is a layer. These also are under $5 a piece. I wanted something different for these guys. I'm not really sure. I didn't realize when I had them in the pack that they have their own base, that they're not standing on their own legs. So I have to deal with that too. The store owner, I looked at some of the things that he painted, and I don't know the kinds of details that I see done on the characters that they are doing. Oh, a dire wolf that's kind of the color of green. There are people in my building being loud and obnoxious today, and I'm going to go shoot them. I think maybe I'll make the dire wolf a black and try to give these spikes on the back of his shoulders here a different color. Let's see what I got going here. I need something. Just before I was getting set up to do this, you know how you're getting up and you get something going and you're all ready to and motivated to do something, and suddenly you have to go run to the bathroom. Well, it's the story of my life. Well, when I came back and I you know, living in my building, it's not a fun procedure. I can't stand where I'm living. But while I was getting set up on doing this, I started thinking that I really need something with less hours. But I like my job. I mentioned it in other videos what I do, and well, this ought to be pretty easy. Black dire wolf. Maybe I can make that mane up around his hunched back there. Give it a brown shade, leading into maybe I can make the end of his tail go into more brownish. I don't know if a dire wolf has been known to be multiple colors or not. His feet are just blending in with the base that he's standing on, so I think I need to move my phone a little bit here. Hold on a second. See, I had to look at my stream. I have a 30-second lag because I'm doing this from the phone through a third-party app called Streamlabs. So I had to look up and wait and see what it looks like on there, so I know that what everyone can see. You know, I was expecting that these guys, painting these guys would be kind of easy, because I assumed for the most part that I would make them a single color. I also wanted to add a little variety because my last 3 videos have just been the same pieces of outdoor furniture and landmarks, and I have not done more than the one wing on my dragon. I know that a lot of people would like to see the complete works, but I don't mind doing something in progression. Just taking my time with it. This is the first time that I've done 2 videos on one weekend. But see, after I made my previous one and I showed everyone the new stuff that I got, I went back out to the store and bought these animals and more paints. A friend of mine who I have tended to help out a lot during the past year, I had shown him what I was doing because he does a lot of artwork himself, but nothing like this. And he had come back over and asked if I could help him get some new art supplies and things. I spent more than I would have liked. But one of the things about me is when I've got the ability and I've got the money to be able to help others, I like to do it. I'm not going to worry as much about this thing's underbelly just now. I'm going to let this back half dry so that I can figure out a way to blend in a brownish going into the back half. Of the body here, and I make the black paint. Oops. Excuse me. Dab it in a little lightly here so that when I put some brown in, it'll look like it's just fur going into the back half of them. So I saw some Warhammer wolves. He had a 5 or 6 pack of them that were all in different positions and running and jumping, and I thought that would look nice running around on my field, on my scenery. But they were $36 for those, and so maybe next week or the week after I have some other things I need to purchase and still be able to save some money again. It's like every paycheck I'm starting over, even though I made a lot of money before, but I was paying for things that kept coming up, transportation and food. And I have all that going on. It's pretty hectic. Give me a second here. See, when I first started my job, my current job, I was paying too much for transportation. I don't have a vehicle of my own. I'm a two-wheeler kind of guy, motorcycles, scooters. I'm not too good at driving regular vehicles, certainly not in traffic. But as I'm living in a winter state right now, I've had this money to buy something like that, but I'm not going to ride it. Let's see. This color here, this brass scorpion, not exactly a brown. It's more of a reddish. So I wonder if I can make some red boars. It's also just a layer, so it's kind of... Let's see what this looks like going on. I think this isn't so bad. A red boar. Maybe I can give it a blackish mane going across the back with mohawk here. More like the color of a red fox, I think. You know, I saw a fox the other day running up the street. It was at night though, so I was actually wondering. I couldn't tell for sure, but I actually suspected it was a wolf pup. Because I know there had been some encounters recently in the area. And I don't know exactly where he was headed, I could guess. He was running up towards the woods past the beach area. We're right by Lake Michigan. You can look out my window right behind me and you can see the lake. It's a block away. There's nothing like living by the ocean, though. That's an experience that I want to go back to. And that's when I took this job, that was my original plan, was to save money so I could do that. But always trying to find ways to occupy myself and not having family anymore to spend time with. And somebody else with extremely good skills could make the hooves on this guy black or dark brown. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to make the front end of him here a different shade. I'll put some of the red or orange, burnt sienna, whatever color this looks like to somebody. I'm leaning back away from the phone. You know what? I think my phone leaned forward on the tripod. So you can't see what I'm doing. I think I have to retighten the pivot that it's sitting on. So I've been watching The Lord of the Rings last few days. I finally watched the Hobbit films, the last two. And I watched the extended edition of Desolation of Smaug, and it was actually better with the extended material and the scenes in it. It took me this long to watch them because I had already not seen them for a while after they came out, and 2 years ago, this March, it's been 2 years since my second marriage actually it's been almost 3 years since my second marriage essentially ended. But I lived in the house for another year while she kept bringing this guy around with the kids there and everything. But during that last week, I had promised Grace. See, we watched the first Hobbit. I can't remember where we saw it. If I bought it at a store or if I don't remember what happened. But I promised her that weekend we would go rent the other two. And of course, we didn't have the extended editions, so, it would have been better anyhow, even still. But it was that Thursday that my generosity and my caring was taken advantage of. We had a baby bird that we keep separate from the adults until it grows up a little. But that's how we always did it. We had a whole flock of cockatiels in one room. And I was always very conscious of making sure that it was all right and fed and had water. So when I came downstairs that day, there was a note there telling me to get out. Same exact thing my first wife did, after she'd been cheating on me too. So I had a hard time, watching anything related to what I would watch with the kids. with Grace mostly. Her brothers always had their heads buried in their computers. It was hard to get them to do anything else. All right. See if I can put some of this on the height of the direwolf here. Kind of dab it in. I think I'll mix in some black into what I'm doing now after this dries. See how that turns out. So yeah, I bought Shadow of War. I showed that in the last video. And I started the game to see what it would do. See, I'll keep the other leg completely black down there. But I put some of it on that leg just to see if it'll hook alright. Dab some of this up in here. Try to avoid his ear, but well, that ear's going to have some of it. I think this is going to be an awkward looking direwolf. So I had gotten pretty interested in seeing Lord of the Rings again. I realized I had never seen the extended version of The Return of the King. So I was pretty impressed with some of the additions that they had there. I was surprised at some of the parts that they took out of the original cut. And I was disappointed that they removed Merry fighting out in front of Minas Tirith the way he was. Let's see what I got here. Oh, let's take a look at the dragon. Well, now I guess it's going to be time to start the other wing. I don't know if you can hear that, but there is some noise coming out from the halls. People are being idiots today in the building. I don't know if that was music or what was going on. I keep it no secret that I have a bad time of things. I have this somewhat of a newfound motivation to paint and get on the videos and show people what I'm doing. But at this point, it's not getting any attention. I don't even think I've had any viewers come into the room. So I guess it's sort of like I'm just doing it for myself. Oh, here we go. Use this to wipe off my brush with. some of these dimwits that live up here, they like to walk around the halls with their phones blasting their music. People ask, why haven't you moved out yet? Oh, I've tried. I was making enough money at this new job to be able to afford something far better. But when the landlords don't get back to you, and they have all these requirements and applications and everything, it's just not that simple to get moved into a new place. Not to mention, I'd have to get all this stuff packed up and moved out of here. And before the hours were knocked back down to 8, and we were still working a lot of Saturdays, there was just no way before that I was ever going to find the energy to pack up my stuff and move out. I would have had one day to do it. Saturday night and Sunday. I think I could have done some of the bone structure up in here first and put the black on them. Oh well. This brush is not one of the skinnier ones, so I'm gonna I could be wrong, but I think my stream lagged. At least let's see. Oh boy. I'll be honest with you, it would be nice if there were people in the chat, because I've said it before that I don't have a lot of good things to report, and when I'm trying to think of something to talk about, to keep the video going, that's all I have to talk about. Or my personal experiences. And I don't want that to be a regular thing. Matter of fact, I would even talk about I would talk about matters of government and politics if I felt bold enough to do that on here, but I'm not going to. Because the thing about government politics is that most of it's just a bunch of bad acting and false flags, so just to keep us afraid. So I'm not going to get into that. Before anyone asks, false flag does not mean nothing happened. A false flag means we were told a false story about what happened. That's the end of that. side here. A long stretch of black going all the way up this, but this is going to blend in more right here now. It doesn't seem to cover the full stretch the way it did on this side. I see people doing arts and crafts and knitting and crocheting and even putting makeup on. And don't even get me started. And they get tons and tons and tons and tons of people talking to them about it. And the arts and crafts I get, people want to watch some of that. So that's one of the things that motivated me that gave me a little bit of motivation to try this, to see if it would capture someone's interest. Everybody's saying, "Oh, you just have to keep at it. You just have to keep at it. You never know." I've been at it for over 5 years. Maybe longer now. Putting videos on YouTube. I was on a different streaming service before. A lot of people just get some really lucky breaks, and then all of a sudden their streaming career takes off. I'm not worried about becoming a really big popular streamer. I wouldn't mind if I just had a few people that come in and talk to me. It'd be nice to be a mixer partner, but that takes a lot more than what I do or what I have time to do. If it happened, then I would obligate myself to it. But this isn't a thing that you're really supposed to get on your streams and talk about either. My time's almost up. I usually only do about a 30-40 minute video. That's about how long I ever feel like doing these. I'm using the stream service just to record it. You can see my title. If you were to look, my title is not even about painting. It says I'm playing Destiny 2, and I'm not. The Streamlabs doesn't allow me to change all that. I can get on the website and do it, but I'm not that worried about it. Because I'll change the title when the video saves, and then I'll put it on YouTube with its new title. I even put it on, I would even share it on Twitter. It says, "Here I am, come check me out." And one of the more annoying things is when you get lurkers and they never say a word to you. And that makes me self-conscious, because it makes me wonder, are they really interested in what I'm saying? Or is it just one of those people that sit in your room for 15 minutes and then moves on? Let me get a brush now. And one of the reasons that I try to bring up multiple things while I'm doing this is to see if there's anything that somebody would want to respond to on YouTube or wherever. And I'm not talking about my personal life, just any issue. Oh, I don't think this side's going to turn out as well as the other side, the other wing. Oh. Well, there's a lot of details in here that and I'll be honest, I do miss playing in campaigns, but I don't miss a lot of the people that you have to deal with. One of the worst things about being me is that I'm always expected to tolerate and respect the way other people are, but they never want to respect how I am. They don't respect my wishes, and they don't respect my moral or my personal values. So it's hard to be a part of stuff when you're like that. Even at work, at my job, I'm not really allowed to be myself a lot of the times. But I have to put up with everyone else's antics and attitudes and personalities. Not everybody. There's a few guys that I think I'm doing okay with, but well, there's most of the top half of this wing. And I think this is where I'm going to cut off the video this time. So please leave your comments, concerns, and suggestions. I've asked for suggestions before. All right. Thank you very much.